Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve Ramona and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose, serving others, and yes, achieving success. We believe that when we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart, we can truly make a difference. We create a show for you because we want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to make an impact in your world. Whether you're an entrepreneur, community leader, or simply someone looking to bring more purpose into your daily life, this podcast is here to support you. Now, while listening to my incredible guest, this is part two. Don't do this much, but he was so good the first time, I had to bring him back. We're going to talk life insurance, that complex thing. He's going to simplify it for you and show you how powerful it is. But while you're listening to him today, I want you to think about how you're going to serve today and what impact you'll create today. Today's Saturday. I know I'm going to go out and serve and do something today. I know Brian's serving every day. I want you to think about that after you're done listening to this incredible show. And if you listen to the recording, go out that day after you listen to us and go and serve and create impact yourself. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by our phenomenal partner, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine being part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries. Together, we build a thought leader, expert platform, and most importantly, to change the world and make an impact. For more information, just reach out to me and I'll get you that information. Talk about servant's heart, impact, and I'm adding a new word now. This is coming, Brian, my guest is hearing this new word we were talking about before the show, generosity. Now, life insurance is complex. I've talked to many life insurance agents, and people either make the wrong decision or don't do it because they don't understand it. What we don't know, we don't know. But today, Brian is going to open that up for us and teach us a little bit more. Brian, welcome back to the show.
Well, it is great to be here, Steve. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure to talk with you. And yeah, I'm excited for this conversation.
I love saying welcome back. I don't say it very often, so it's pretty awesome to do that.
It's fun
generosity.
For me too.
Yeah, it's you're so good. Talk about generosity in life insurance. There's a ton of agents out there. Ton of not so good things out there, and that's no different than a dentist, chiropractor, whatever. There's good and bad in everything. Talk about generosity with life insurance.
Wow, there's a lot of ways we could go with that, but just to start it off, we'll talk about the relationship between the life insurance agent and their client. And so generosity to me, what comes to mind when I think of that relationship is the ability to sit down and truly hear one another and understand where we're coming from and see if there's a way that we can mutually help each other. You know, so many insurance agents and agents of any ilk, they get painted with this salesperson broad brush. And yes, like you said, there are those bad apples, those salespeople out there. But when it comes to generosity, I think the first thing you can do is just really sit down with someone and hear and understand what they want and what they're looking for.
Somebody listening that's in a life agent, health aid, or is dealing with people, how important is communication then?
Oh, communication is paramount. Like if you do not stay in touch with your prospects, if you do not call your leads, if you do not stay involved in some way in your current client's life, they will forget you. I know you may think you have a great relationship. I know you might think, hey, this deal that we constructed together, it was a big deal for them, a lot of money, whatever. They'll always remember me. No, they won't. So communication is very, very important.
And then on the flip side of communication is the negative communication. What I mean by that is you've got a prospect, they're just not a fit for you and your team. It's good to say no, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And people I've found respect you more if you don't try to feed them a bunch of BS and like, oh yeah, we could totally do that, even though we're not licensed for that service or we're not in that state. But yeah, we could totally help you out. Yeah, just don't do that. Just tell them straight up. It's like, hey, I am not the right fit. My company's not the right fit for you, but let me give you some pointers and let me kind of guide you in the right direction. I mean, maybe you've got a referral partner or somebody that you know of on LinkedIn that you could say, hey, reach out to. I've got this client. I can't help them, but I think you might be able to. And it just creates more goodwill.
This is why Brian's on the show. It's why I love him. You saw what he did there. He could have easily said, hey, you're not a fit. Good luck. Shake hands and walk away. And that would be fine. But as Servant Heart goes to the next level, you educate them and then gave them an introduction, probably with I don't call them competitors, but a collaborator, somebody else that could fit. That's $1 million lesson there, because you do that with somebody. Isn't sometimes they come back?
Oh, 100%. That, just like we were talking about before with the communication and being memorable, that creates a memory for someone that will stick. You've probably heard this phrase before, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that fits right in with that servant's heart.
Yeah, it does. Financial picture is a word to use with a lot of financial advisors in the money financial field. How is financial picture defined in life insurance?
In life insurance, at least the way that I operate from a field of abundance, life insurance and financial picture, the life insurance is just a part of someone's financial picture. I'm not out here saying that you should only have life insurance. That's the only investment, the only contracts you should have. No, 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 no. I don't believe that at all. I believe in portfolio diversification, and having life insurance as a part of that portfolio, of course, I believe is absolutely paramount because it provides you that guaranteed protection of your money.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that is a fault of life insurance agents I've talked to, is that end all be all here, but diversification. I mean, just Warren Buffett's one of my favorite. He's got hundreds and hundreds of companies, and he's had 40 companies fail. But he's still one of the top wealthiest guys in the world because of diversification. You talked about
right.
education. I think it's so important. How much more important is it in insurance, not just life, but health and all of that?
It's funny you ask, because I just got involved in a Facebook conversation earlier this morning with someone's basically calling life insurance death insurance. And her version of life insurance was taking care of yourself and being healthy so you can enjoy the life you have while you're still on the right side of the dirt. But so I just couldn't help myself and jump in. And it's like, yes, I completely agree. Taking care of yourself is so important so you can enjoy this life. But what people don't know and don't understand is there's so many ways you can use modern life insurance to enjoy your life and your money now and still have a vehicle to pass it on to the next generation so they have a head start.
Head start's great. That's a great comment. I love that. I'm thinking of a race. If I had a head start in a race, I'm probably going to win most of the time, which is great. Let's talk about somebody listening going, okay, I don't have life insurance. Maybe they hire you, Brian, and I suggest you talk to them at least. But what should they look for a not so good life insurance agent? As I talked earlier, there's not good dentists, there's not good car across the board. Every industry has the good and the bad. But what do people look out for?
All right, I'm going to give you a great question to ask your agent. If they are an independent agent, in other words, they don't work for like Geico or Allstate, those types of people, they still have multiple products they can pull from, even they're under one umbrella. But if you're working with and talking to an independent insurance agent, here is the question that you need to ask. And if they say one, that's the red flag. How many carriers do you represent and do business with all the time.
Hmm.
If they say 1, my suggestion is you shake their hand, you thank them for your time, and you walk away, because they're looking at everything as a nail and they're the hammer. There's no other tools in their toolbox that they're pulling from in order to serve you. So that is a great question that you can ask.
What a great tool. I've never heard that. I've talked to hundreds of life agents. That is powerful, powerful. Now, I read something, and I told you I was going to ask you this on the show. You don't know what I'm going to ask. You say good people deserve lots of money. Now, people will say, I deserve lots of money because of, this or this, but you added good people. I love it. I think you're absolutely right. I've learned that. What did you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is really, really twofold. One is the concept of abundance that I spoke about a little bit earlier. It is absolutely true that there is enough money, there's enough wealth for all of us in this life to live how we want to live. Not everybody wants to live in a 30,000 square foot mansion and drive Porsches and Maseratis. Not everybody wants that life, but that's what we think of when we think of people that have a lot of money and wealth. And so, keeping that in mind, there is enough for everyone. So that sets up the people deserving lots of money, right? So the good part is also we're in a struggle in this world right now. I don't know about, your listeners or, you personally, if you're listening, I don't know your religious beliefs, but I personally believe in God. I believe in good and evil. And I truly believe we are in a struggle right now between good and evil on this earth. So that being the case, good people need to win. And you cannot win in this life without having money. So if you're out there as an entrepreneur, you're doing something to change the world, you're a community leader out there volunteering or putting organizations together, you are one of the good people and you deserve to have lots of money.
Didn't expect that answer. You're blowing me away here. Because I agree. I had to learn this myself. The Bible talks about abundance. You can have all the abundance of the world. It's what you do with your abundance is what God's going to look at. And I appreciate you saying that. So personal development, I know you got books back there, but how much has that helped you be a better life agent?
Oh, it helps everywhere in every aspect of your life, not just as a life agent, but, specifically it really, and again, I'm going to say it again because it's about abundance.
Yeah.
It is about abundance. One of the biggest lessons that I learned when I started down the path of personal development is that idea that there truly is enough for everyone. And in thinking about how that relates to being a life agent, it goes back to not everyone being your client and that being perfectly okay. Because then you're not operating out of desperation, which people can absolutely pick up on, and it's a complete turnoff. So if you're operating out of a state of abundance and understanding that this person might not be the right fit, but the next one probably will be, then your world opens up.
Yeah, I love that. I say I've been in this world more than 60 years. I still can't find a round peg going a square hole yet. Until somebody can prove me wrong. That's exactly what you're saying. You just don't try to fit it. You're losing money that you're not realizing you're losing because short-term gain is not like long-term gain. Short-term gain is short-term, but if you build a relationship and grow, especially in insurance, it's such a complex, hectic industry. What is a tip you'd give somebody that says, hey, I want to jump in the insurance business?
If they want to get into the insurance business, I'm not sponsored by them at all, but I love Kaplan online education. That's who I took for my license. That's who I take for my CEs. And they do a phenomenal job teaching. I was able to go and take my exam and pass on the first try, which the person at the exam center told me 70% of people that take that test do not pass the first time. So And I credit that obviously with me being able to absorb a little bit of knowledge and being a fairly smart guy, but also to Kaplan. So where you go to get your education matters. The second thing I'll say is, again, just keep in mind the servant's heart and really wanting to focus in and help people. And thirdly, if you have a desire to focus on a specific kind of niche, like for me, I focus on the financial side of the insurance industry, but there's many different facets. There's straight up life insurance. There's health insurance. There's helping people with Medicare, which is a huge industry, and a lot of people need guidance for that. So if you're pulled to either of those areas, just focus in on that and start there, and then expand outward if you feel the need or want to.
Research is really important. Now, I like that you said that. Before you make that decision, do some research. How important are mentors?
Oh boy, mentors. Yeah, I can't. There's nothing I can say more powerful than mentors are the lifeblood of your business. Like, if you are just getting into this space and you have no one to guide you, to show you the path, that this is how you talk with people, this is how you position things, this is how you follow up, this is how you get leads. If you don't have somebody showing you that, you're just guessing. And the people that go out there and guess, they are part of the 80% of insurance agents that decide to go back to working at Dairy Queen or something after the first 3 years. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Tell us how mentors have helped you.
Mentors, it's all about really understanding what these products mean and how to tell a story. And it's not just telling a story to make a sale, but it's telling and understanding your client's story as well. And that goes back to what we were talking about with that generosity earlier, is sitting down and listening to someone and hearing their story and taking that and putting it into an insurance solution like a life product or an annuity, and inserting that person's story into that product of protection. And if you can have someone show you how to do that, you're going to be way far ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you think in the future. I've never asked this question, it just came to me, is what do you see the future of life insurance in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's a really exciting thing to think about, because we're at the rise of AI right now. And for me, what I see coming is you're going to have almost direct to consumer purchase power. And that'll function in a multitude of ways. It'll come from directly from the carriers, like Nationwide or Allstate or what have you. But it'll also be available to the independent producer on maybe like on their website. Get an annuity quote, buy the policy, make that first payment right here, right now. And then the commissions and everything else just gets auto-populated to the carrier, and everything is taken care of, and it all happens within a matter of minutes. Now, that doesn't negate the need for humans, because I truly believe that you have to make sure the product is right for the person. So you need to go and be able to review their information, see their financial picture. Again, look at their story and see if it matches with what they said that they wanted. And again, just making sure that your client is getting what's right for them, what will help them, and they have a positive experience with you, even though they didn't start out interacting with you. It was just with a auto-generating AI.
What you don't know, you don't know. That's the scary thing and the powerful thing of insurance anywhere, because you don't know. And I say this all the time, probably the audience is sick of hearing it. I don't want my mechanic doing heart surgery on me. We don't want the individual client, right, to buy their own, life insurance, and then 6 years later they go, "Oh my God, what did I do? I've got all these obstacles I've got to go over." So a guy like Brian is somebody you need to reach out to. We're coming to the end here. When it comes to money, what is a tip you give people?
Get in the habit of saving. And I'll give you one more. Understand what the difference is between an asset and a liability. Those two, well, those three things, again, are going to put you ahead of so many people.
How important is the mindset tied to money?
Oh, the mindset it's huge. Just like if we go back to that concept of abundance, that's all mindset, because the truth is that abundance is everywhere, but you have to believe it in order to make it happen for you. And also, once you get in the habit of doing something, it reinforces that habit. It reinforces your mind. It makes you start feeling good about what you're doing because you're accomplishing something that you said you were going to, which affects your mindset. So yeah, money mindset is very important.
Yeah, it's so well said. Why do you think you have a servant heart?
Oh my gosh, Steve.
I know it's a big one.
That is a big one. And I will say it's because that's what God made me for. In my entire working life has been in the service of others in some capacity. I've looked back on my life and thought about that often. It's like, everything that I've ever done has had some form of serving people in it. And I understand that there are, you can break any job down that way, but like really direct interaction, serving people, it's been my whole life. And there's no other answer than that's what God put me here to do.
Amen. That's so well said. Got a fun question for you. We'll end it. First, let's find out how can people reach out to you, and I'll ask you the fun question.
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about how a life insurance policy or product or an annuity can impact you and your family, how you can benefit from it today before you kick off, if you're wondering that for you or your family, you can reach out to me at brian@wealthy.consulting. That is my direct email. It goes right to me, and I would be happy to connect with you so we can just, again, have that conversation so I can hear and understand your story and see if I can help.
My mortgage friend says, have a conversation, not an obligation.
Oh, I love that.
He said, yeah, it's borrow that. He's Michael Garcia. Shout out to you. I just love that. So the fun question. Okay, Brian, and I didn't ask you in the first podcast. I've been asking people, and it's great. So you've reserved a table of 4 at a restaurant. You occupy, of course, the one of the seats. The other 3 seats, who would you invite, dead or alive? Why would you invite them? And I think most important, what food would you order?
All right. Well, there's 4 seats at the table, so I need to fill 3 of them up. Let's see. Let me see. I didn't think it would come to me this quickly, but I would have Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, and Sadhguru at my table.
Sadhguru, who's Sadhguru? Okay, you gotta explain that one.
So he is this wonderful old man, this yogi guru who is just full of life, full of energy, love for humanity, and loves teaching people how to live more full and complete lives. I, somehow on the algorithms, he got into my social media feeds, and you know how it goes. And I love him. He is so down to earth and so personable, but his wisdom is so deep. And so I would have him at my table just to hear more of his perspectives on life and on business and on happiness, really. So that's one.
But interesting, he calls himself Sadhguru, but he teaches happiness.
It's not SAD like how we would think, but that's how he says it. So I think it's spelled actually SAAD.
Yeah. It's just what a interesting concept. I'm sad guru, and I'll teach you happiness. He sounds. I'm gonna actually look him up myself. Well, and we forgot the most important thing. What would you order for everybody?
Oh, what would I order? I would order every single appetizer tray that they have just to see what everybody likes without judgment, without trying to figure it out. Let's just see what they pick up. Let's watch.
I love. Okay, I've done 70 of these questions. That's the best answer in food. You're number one right now in the pack. That's great.
Woo.
I love that. But that's the servant heart too. It's like, let's see what everybody else likes.
Yeah.
I'll like
yeah.
whatever they like. I love it.
Yeah, I'm easy. I'm easy when it comes to
Yeah.
food. You put food in front of me, I'll eat it. So
I love
Unless-
that you're a foodie. Like,
unless it's liver,
nah.
that's a hard pass.
Liver
Yeah.
and octopus, I'm not you can move that along. But everything else I'll take a shot at.
Everything else.
Brian, number 2, part 2 is better than part 1. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Steve, as always. And again, if you have any questions about life insurance annuities for yourself or your family, my email will be here in the descriptions, and just reach out to me. I would love to connect with you.
And I'll have access to it. Comment on the YouTube channel, which will go out today or Monday. When you see it, reach out to me. If you can't find him, I'll connect you with him. Don't forget my TV show, Together We Serve, every Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And as always, me and Brian, thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Doing Business with the Servant Song. You all have a great day today. Bye-bye.